It is what we do. It's Hollywood Balls with TFA. A massive show. What a massive game in store tonight, by the way. Who's gonna come out victorious? Play the best football. Get the win. What he needs away to Germany.
Justin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
It looks like it's going to be the Justin and George show.
I think it might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready when you are, don't worry.
I need my partner. My partner.
Oh, no, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, he'll be in soon, yeah.
Justin, welcome to the show. Welcome to the football app, our community. We have this huge community who just love football and crypto, in fairness.
Yeah, that's good.
They're big into both, and it's intertwined, right? And they are so delighted to have special guests like you, quality people who played the game at the highest levels. And I come from North London as well, but sorry to say, Justin, I saw the light. I'm the other lot, not the Arsenal.
With the Arsenal reserves or our second team?
but welcome, Justin, to the show. It's a thrill to have you. Before you know, time flies. Pete, are you back?
Back in. Sorry, I had to just go and put the kettle on, get a quick cup of coffee. I timed that all wrong. So sorry, guys.
No problem.
No worries.
Justin, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. We've been chatting all week and can't wait to get onto all the stuff that we're going to be talking about. There's so much that we've got in common, including Trinidad, a bit of Sunderland, Newcastle. But I've got to ask you first and foremost, what have you made of the Euros? It's been a great tournament.
I think it's been a great tournament. I think there's been a few shocks. A lot of teams that people probably didn't expect to do well are doing really, really well. And I think it's been a great Euro so far. I mean, even the game last night, it's really, really entertaining. And I think this is why fans fall in love with the game. You know, no, it's loads of goals, and even the penalty shootout, I was getting excited about it. It was good. It was good. I mean, I've been enjoying it. I've been watching every game, so I've been enjoying it.
It's. I think it's surpassed all expectations. It's been.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, there's only been a couple of so-so games. One of them was England's game, I thought, but but it's been fantastic. Yesterday, what a day! I mean, you know, we have this predictions competition, Justin. Even in the football app, we've got a special. You can win a gold iPhone and all this stuff and points and what have you. And nobody's predicting these results. It's incredible, right?
No, I don't think you can predict at the moment. I mean, even you look at the France game, even Spain. Yeah. No one would even expect them results, you know. But they've been great games, entertaining. I think that's what people love, you know. It's the entertainment part of football, and this is why, you know, we all love the game.
Yeah, it's the beautiful game. Has to be entertaining.
Got to get straight into.
Can't be boring.
What we're going to do is get into Justin's career because it's fascinating, and we'll get back into the Euros in a little bit. We've got videos from. By the way, George, we've got a quiz for you. I'm going to surprise you tonight. But you've got 24 hours. But Geordie, Stato, Dave Huggan has got a quiz for you, and you've got 24 hours to work it out.
Okay.
And believe me, you can't Google it. It's the most amazing question. We'll put Justin in there as well. Justin, you started out at 9 years old, right? At a club that you loved. What's that like to work your way through as a young boy all the way to the first team? It's a massive journey, isn't it?
It's a huge journey. I mean, I remember, you know, being in Arsenal, getting first, you know, into the academy. I mean, playing Sunday League and then getting scouted, and then they're telling you, "Oh, do you want to be invited to the Arsenal academy for training and a trial kind of thing?" And at the time I was a striker, so I must have been doing something right, scoring a few goals for Redbridge United for them to pick me up. But no, I mean, I used to follow Arsenal as a kid. My mum used to live on the road of Highbury, so for me to be able to play. Yeah, but she used to live on Highbury, yeah. So for me to be able to, even get part of the academy and part of then on to the first team, it was a huge achievement, because for me, I used to chase after the bus when they ever won anything. So now to even be part of the academy at the age of 9 was something special. I was never going to turn it down, even though Tottenham and West Ham were
they your team, Justin?
Arsenal was my team, yeah. I mean, I had Ian Wright posters up as a kid, so yeah, Arsenal's always been my team.
It must be such a dream to play for the club you love, right?
Yeah. No, it's a dream come true. I mean, like I said, I used to chase after the bus. I remember me and my best mate jumped on the tube, and when Arsenal won the double, whenever they won anything, we used to jump on a tube and chase after the bus, chanting, had the flags out the window. So to even get the opportunity then to play for the first team, I mean, it was a true dream come true. And I mean, I still look back now and say it's still a dream that's, even when I was playing, I felt like it was a dream.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Arsene Wenger, it was funny because I was looking at some reports today, and you were going to go out on loan, but Arsene Wenger insisted, didn't he, that you had to stay in the Premier League?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to stay in the Premier League. I mean, when I first went on loan to Sunderland, I think there was a few Championship teams interested. I think even before I left, there was a few Championship teams interested. But I think, Arsene Wenger saw the potential I had and thought, no, the Premiership is the best thing for my development. And lucky enough, I got to Sunderland. Unfortunately, we got relegated, but yeah.
Obviously, you can see the black and white in the background, so I'm
going to mention
it. Yeah. I spoke to a.
I didn't see any tears when he said Sunderland got relegated.
I've got a very, very good Sunderland friend today, and I was talking to him about you. He said the Sunderland fans absolutely loved you, and I'm going to say something that, well, basically, many guests that we get on this show have always scored against a tune. It wasn't a great result for you that day, but you did score against the Black and Whites, didn't you?
I did score, yeah. I really enjoyed that moment. It's a great goal, to be fair.
I know you did, because I remember standing in the goal behind it thinking, oh no, because you went 1-0 up, right?
Yeah, we went 1-0 up, yeah. And I mean, unfortunately, we lost the game, and Shearer scored his last goal against us. But no, it was a great moment. I think it was a great. Just even to score, for Sunderland, team I was on loan against in such a huge game, I think it was great. And I mean, I loved it, my time up there, to be honest with you.
And I've got to ask you as well, Justin, because you've played in it, so the fans are there, they know what it's like. But it's fascinating to hear from the players. Just tell us a little bit, that Northeast derby. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? The build up and the atmosphere. It's a different thing, isn't it?
No, it's completely different. I said to everyone that I know, that's the biggest derby I think I've ever played in. Even my dad, when he went, he's been to the Arsenal, Tottenhams, and some other derbies that I played in, and he said that's probably the biggest and worst derby he's ever been to, and he'll never go to one again after the first one he went to. It's James's Park. But no, for me, I mean, the atmosphere and the build up to the game. We was never really allowed in Newcastle before the game or really after it.
Nope.
Depending on the result, they wouldn't let us. And even down to fans, Sunderland fans, or me being a Sunderland player, saying you wouldn't go into Foot Locker because it was a black and white, bag and stuff. So no, the build up was huge, and I mean the games and the atmosphere was really, really something else. And I don't think I've ever played in a derby bigger than that.
What was there any? What was the pressure like from? Because obviously you get the media build up, and you've got the gaffer at the time. How do you deal with that? Because I mean, seriously, the media build up. And I'm a fan as well as being in the media. It gets so big, like 5 days before the game. Does it get to the players?
I mean, it gets to the players, and I think it pushes us motivationally. I think he really just wanted to go out and win the game. And I think that's why, when we scored the first goal, we kind of celebrated the way we did, because it meant so much to the fans. And I mean, even the Sunderland fans now say, players can become legends if you score against Newcastle, or, if you win and beat Newcastle, you become a legend, or the fans love you. So in that sense, now it's a huge build up, but I think we was all ready for it for a week, preparing for it, mentally and physically was a week ahead of the game. Now it's huge.
Let's talk something that we've both got in common. Trinidad. I lived there. My sister was born there, young Max. we were swapping texts last night. Valsane was where we lived, and my dad told me to say, I think it was, I think he said South Valsane, or not, one of the two anyway. But you had a choice, didn't you? And you went with England first, but there was the possibility of Trinidad as well. So just tell us your Trini roots.
So my granddad, born and bred in Trinidad, my dad's side, and then my dad was born in Trinidad also. So that's kind of where I got, eligible for the Trinidad national team. So for me, it was always a decision. They've asked me a few occasions previous to playing for the national team. And it was actually just before they got into the World Cup and actually got into the World Cup that they asked me, do I want to come and play for the national team? And at the time, stupidly, I said no. Which I wish I never, but
do you regret that now, right?
I regret that now, yeah. But at the time I was, knocking on the door of the England. There was, talk of me going to play for England, which, it never happened. But, there's always speculation. And I guess, playing for England is a huge thing. I played for England, youth team right up until 21. So then to try and get that England cap was the next step for me. So I thought, maybe that's where my, career and journey pathway would lead. But unfortunately it didn't. But later on down the line, I got another opportunity to play for Trinidad and Tobago. And like I said, I wish I had chosen to do that earlier on.
A lot of many people, Justin, I think, thought that you get into the England setup. In fairness, there's a lot of talk, I remember at the time, right? And it just never quite happened. And but you had time under Arsene Wenger, one of the best managers ever, right? That must have been a wonderful experience.
It was a great experience. I think even being at Arsenal, during that period where there was unbeaten and during that whole generation of the Arsenal team under Arsene Wenger and some of his other coaching staff and the players, I think it was the perfect time to be at Arsenal. And for me, being an Arsenal fan, it was the greatest time ever to be at Arsenal and be an Arsenal player. And I learned so much from Arsene Wenger and the players that I try and take into my day-to-day life and team moving forward.
I've got a question about Arsenal because I know quite a few managers, and I've been so fortunate to know many players that have told me stories. But I can never imagine him shouting. I can just imagine him saying, "Justin, you do this, you do that, and you take the ball for." I can never imagine him being angry.
He wasn't really a shouter, to be honest with you, but there was one or two occasions when we did lose when we shouldn't have, and he would come in the dressing room, and I mean, he wouldn't say nothing, but you could tell that he was fuming. You could literally tell he was fuming. I think we played Bolton one game, and I think we lost, and I think he come in the locker room and he kicked over a few water bottles, and I think that's the angriest I've seen him. But no, he's not really a shouter, really. And I think with him, the way he is obviously if you didn't play the next week or the week after, you kind of know you didn't do too well in the game.
Yeah.
I've got to say, Justin, I always remember, and I've watched you many times playing, pacey as well, but I didn't know until this week when I was doing my research, but pardon the pun, it does run in the family. 1982 Commonwealth Games, gold medal, fantastic. Is that where you get the pace from?
I think so, yeah. Or is it naturally? Yeah, I think my mum gave me that kind of speed, which I'm grateful of. Yeah, she was in the Commonwealth. She competed in the Olympics as well. So she was, 2 Olympics, Commonwealth gold medalist for the relay. Come 5th in the final of the Commonwealth. So no, I think that's kind of where I get my speed from. I always told her I'll be faster than her. So
brilliant. Listen, we are going to look at the Euros because it's why we're here.
Can I just jump in?
Of course you can.
Justin, maybe I'm losing my mind, which clearly could be the case. I remember reading, were you the first Arsenal player to score at the Emirates or the first English player? Is that something?
The first English player to score at the Emirates. Yeah, a bit of history there. So I always go down in history at Emirates as an Arsenal goal scorer.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great. As an Arsenal fan, that's an Arsenal boy. That's great. Especially at the Emirates Stadium.
That's coming from a Spurs fan.
Listen,
I know.
You're an Arsenal fan. You played for Arsenal, and you're the first English person to score at the Emirates. First Arsenal player to score there. That's fantastic. That's
great for me. That's great. That's great. I can always keep that.
It's a good
quiz question, isn't it?
The only good thing is they weren't playing Spurs at the time. Thank God.
Unfortunately not.
Listen, we've got a lot of messages and videos and stuff to play tonight because we are Euros. If you like your music, George, you know, we've had Barry Ashworth on before from the Dub Pistols, who's a great guy. And he sent this message to us all for Hollywood Balls this evening.
Welcome to all the Hollywood Balls family around the world. I want to say it's a big, big, big one for England tonight. I'm wearing my red Dub Pistols Lions shirt. That's right, the Lions on the chest, because we are going to smash up the Germans 4-2. That's my prediction anyway. Harry Kane's finally going to come good, and we are going through. Football's coming home. Massive love to Geordie Pete and all the family. Like I said, massive love to all the Hollywood ballers around the world. And let's get England in the final. Come on, England!
Brings us nicely into the Euros tonight. I was going to start with Justin. What's your thoughts on the game tonight? Because, you know, there's a huge opportunity for England from a football perspective. And I'm going to ask you as a player, you know, there's so much of a mentality thing about this, about playing the Germans. What's your thoughts on it tonight, Justin?
I think England will actually come away with a victory. I think in this game, I think they're mentally prepared for it. I don't think Germany are looking as good as they think, you know, as good as they have been in past tournaments and past games. So I think England have got the talent, they've got the ability, and I think if they get the togetherness and that winning mentality throughout the team, I think they'll produce something great in tonight's game.
George, I'm coming to you because I've got a stat for you before we bring in Stato Dave Huggan from Australia, by the way, who's just incredible. I've got some amazing stats for you, by the way, and that quiz. It's literally 13 meetings in Germany have won at Wembley in the last 7. So how do you see it tonight?
What's the first part of the code today, Pete?
The first part
of the code was 66, right?
Exactly.
1966.
So it's an omen. Is it coming home?
I think, listen, I think England have a good mentality. They haven't played great, but they've got the results so far. I think there's self-belief in the squad that they can do it. If they stick to the game plan, whatever it is, I think the boys will do it. I think England beats Germany. Okay. And with France going out, it could be coming home.
Getting onto that, Justin, I've got to ask you though, as a player, and I said to my dad just last night, we were talking about England and what's happened in the past, and the media do build it up, obviously. And I was so pleased to see Gareth Southgate say this morning, half of the kids that are going to be playing tonight, they don't really care about penalties and shootouts and 96, do they? Or it's about the now.
Yeah, I think it's about now. I think a lot of them don't really, recall what happened really. And I think now they're just looking for the future and trying to create history of their own, really. I mean, us ex-players kind of know what happened, but a lot of them youngsters are just going out there free-minded. They're just going to go out there freely and just hopefully express themselves and just, go out and get the victory. And I think to a lot of them, it's just trying to get through to the next stage. So it doesn't matter who they're trying to play against or who is in front of them. I think they just want to win this game and get through to the next stage.
Yeah. And how important are the fans being back in the stadium tonight? It's massive, isn't it?
I think that's huge. I think that'll play a key. And I think that's, that's an extra player for England. And you can see, I'm sure the fans are going to be, non-stop singing. Even if England go a goal down, I think the fans are going to be non-stop, and that's going to be a huge boost for England.
George, I've got to say, let's talk about how many goals there were last night. We were at WhatsApp until God knows when talking. Yeah. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Listen, 14 goals in 2 games, right?
That's crazy,
and that doesn't include the penalties, right? It's incredible. I mean, fair play to Spain. I thought Spain deserved the victory, despite that embarrassing goal. But the France-Swiss game, the France-Switzerland game, had everybody on edge, right to the and it's one of the games you're never going to forget, right? You're going to remember for a long time. I felt bad for the French. I thought the equaliser, the third goal they conceded was very poor defensively, but so it goes. And well played to the Swiss. I take my hat off to them. Absolutely well played.
I've got to ask Justin, because a fellow Gooner, he gave France very short shrift. He said that they deserved what they got. Patrick Vieira was very scathing. They were 3-1 up. And do you think they just had switched off?
Yeah, to be fair, I think they kind of thought it was done and dusted. I think after Pogba scored that, I think they probably thought, yeah, this is us, because they was on top leading up to that goal and the goal before, Benzema's goal. They was right on top. You could see they was going to score. And I think after that goal Pogba scored, I think, right, that's it. We're through to the next round with one. And I think they got a bit complacent. But fair play to the Switzerland, who never gave up and carried on going.
Yeah. But Justin, as a player, you're 1-0 down, you concede a penalty, Lloris makes a great save. That's a key moment in the game. Momentum is on your side. You get 2 quick goals. Pogba scores a 3rd goal. You're 3-1 up with 10, 11 minutes to go. It's a shocking indictment, right, that you don't win.
Yeah, you should be winning them games. I mean, international level, you should really be seeing them games out. But, like I said, full credit to Switzerland, because a lot of teams would have just, given up or, thought, all right, this game's done now. Look at the 2 goals they've scored. Look at Pogba's goal. It's finished. But, fair credit to Switzerland. They didn't give up and they carried on going, which is what tournament football is all about. But, it's disappointing from on it as a, French fan. They shouldn't have lost that.
Yeah, and talking of Arsenal, I thought the Swiss captain was man of the match. He was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
I thought.
I couldn't believe
Wasn't
it.
He was.
I said to someone in the game before, he was a great player, and they probably show why Arsenal bought him in the first place. And I think even in this game, he showed what the quality he has. He's just, at Arsenal at the wrong time. At the wrong time.
Justin, I mean, I watch a lot of football.
Like every day.
I can't remember Xhaka having a better game anywhere ever. That's my perception. I thought he was just simply outstanding yesterday.
No, it was unbelievable. I mean, even on, the through passes he was making, it was like the quarterback, and then breaking up play, tackling. He was everywhere.
He was everywhere, exactly.
That's the reason why Arsenal bought him. They must have seen something in him. It was just unfortunate it's not worked out for him at Arsenal, and he'll probably go on somewhere else and achieve great things. But no, he was definitely man of the match after that performance.
Yeah. Outstanding.
He wasn't man of the match for me, Fabian Schär, and that's because I'm a Geordie, because I'm biased. I thought he had a great game when he stepped. He won it. Let's be right about it. He did win it.
It's true. Yeah.
Listen, we've got this amazing thing, Justin. We've got a Stato on our show who comes on, gives us stats. It's fantastic. He comes all the way from Australia. George, how good is he?
He's incredible, and it's all from his mind, right?
You cannot Google his stuff. And we've got his first one because he's got a quiz question for George later. But here's his update for us, stat.
All right, hello there. It's Geordie Dave Huggan here, and with some more stats. Now I've got a little segment called "So We Meet Again," and here's an interesting one. In 2008, in the FA Cup final, Glenn Loovens was playing for Cardiff City, and he faced Pedro Mendes from Portsmouth. They were in opposing teams that day, and Mendes came out on top. Just less than a year later, they met again and faced each other, with Loovens was playing for Celtic and Mendes was playing for Rangers in the Scottish League Cup final. But this time, Loovens got revenge because Celtic won that one 2-0 in extra time. But I don't think there's ever been a case of 2 players playing each other in the FA Cup final and then meeting in a Scottish final the following season. So I think that's a one-off, unless one of the viewers can spot another one. Anyway, back to Pete and the guys.
It's absolutely incredible, isn't it, George? He literally has so much going on in his brain.
He has a photographic memory. He reads something, he sees something, and it sticks forever. It's incredible.
He's got a quiz for you later, George. Bang on for you.
God help me. Justin, give me a hand, man.
Good luck.
Listen, good luck with it, because I've tried to Google it today. It's not on Google. So you're going to have to all your football fans. Listen, Justin, tell us a little bit about what you do now, because I want to know about the academy. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a fresh start. I think it's giving back to the game, to the younger players. It's kind of like how I'm kind of giving back and coaching my ideas of how I learned the game, really. I grew up, in the Arsenal Academy of a coach called Andy McDermott, and he really made it a fun way of coaching, but it was really educational. And I mean, I look at the way the game is played now, and he was teaching us that then, however many years ago. So he was way above, his coaching grade in his years, way beyond his years. So it's kind of like I've set up a similar philosophy, a similar style, and it's just something that I always wanted to do. So now it's a chance to do that in Florida. So I'm coaching private sessions, group sessions, and just really trying to help the younger generation, even some ex-professionals, just to either get back into the game, or the younger ones trying to reach that next stage and level in their footballing career.
And it's a big thing over there now, isn't it?
Sorry,
it's a huge thing over there, especially in America. It's huge. Yeah. I think I've got a few good talented young players now, and I mean, you look at some of the talented players that are coming out of America at the moment, it's unbelievable. So I think that's only going to continue to grow the more players play and learn and develop.
Yeah. Where in Florida are you? Is this
West Palm Beach? Yeah,
West Palm. Okay,
West Palm Beach. Yeah, because I'm part of a team called West Palm Beach, also. That's a new team that started a year ago. So I'm part of the front office there, and a player still running around chasing after the ball. But
that's fantastic. Right?
Yeah, I'm still going. I'm not ready to hang up my boots yet. I'm still got a passion for the game, so I'm not ready to hang up my boots just yet.
That's fantastic.
Lots of messages coming in for you, Justin, as well, saying, could you still play? I mean, bearing in mind that Newcastle probably need a good full-back. Could you still do it?
In the Premiership, I'm not sure. I'm more now, not a person who runs up and down. I use my experience a bit more, I'd say, and I enjoy playing. I say more so in America just because it's more, I say there's less pressure, I guess, to say, there's less pressure. I can kind of, play, the kind of speed I want, kind of dictate the play and kind of control everyone around me. So I feel I could probably still do a job in the, under the Championship, League One, League Two. But I feel now in the stage of my career and where I'm at, I feel America is a perfect place for me.
Yeah.
Could I ask you, because I know it's got a special place in your heart, and I've got to mention it for the Sunderland fans. Where do they go from there, Justin? Because literally, you could probably play for them now. Maybe I could, but they need to get out of that league quickly, don't they?
Yeah, I think Sunderland do. I think they really need to get out of that league. I mean, they done well last season, but I think this next season now coming, I think that's the biggest season for them, really. And I feel they really, really need to achieve something this season for them. It's a huge club. I mean, it's a great club, and if you ever get to watch a documentary, it's a passionate fan love club, and it's an amazing club to being played for.
Yeah, the documentary is, sorry, George, but that documentary is so fantastic. Sunderland Till I Die. A friend that's been on our show, Leo Perlman from Fulwell 73, who's a great friend of Hollywood Balls. It just proves, though, doesn't it? I mean, it wasn't just for Sunderland fans. Football fans all over the world love that.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about it. You get to actually see what football's actually really like. Everyone sees like maybe the highlight of the football, the Premiership. Everyone sees like the glory days of it, but no one actually sees the day-to-day running of it, and the uncertainty in football and the downsides of football. So I think it's a great documentary. And there's other documentaries now that I watch. I mean, every other day I'm watching a new football documentary, because now I'm trying to learn that part of football. It's like the business side of football. Yeah. So it's for me to learn. But no, it's a great documentary, and it's just sad to see what's happening to Sunderland, but hopefully they'll pick it up this season.
Yeah, and there's no doubt Sunderland is a massive club, huge fan base. Huge. And, we want to say they deserve to be in the Premier League, and you feel that, but you have to earn it, and it's tough. When you get out, it's tough to get back in, right? And
I mean, it's really tough. It's not easy at all. I mean, I was there with Middlesbrough, and I mean, we got relegated after being there in the Premier League for the first season. We got relegated to the Championship, and that's probably the hardest thing to try and get back. It's probably the hardest thing. It's so many games, the traveling. It's just, it's just the hardest thing, and it's, every game is competitive.
Yeah.
Justin, you say that, and it's I want to touch on it, because literally, if you end up in the Champ, it's a total slog, isn't it?
It's a grind.
You feel like you're playing 6 days a week, don't you?
Yeah, it's non-stop. Really, it's non-stop. I mean, it's like Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday. It's like, well, when do I get a break? But no, it's really tough. And I mean, at Sunderland, at Middlesbrough, we played so many games. It was tough. I mean, the teams that normally do well get promoted are the teams that either they're from the beginning at the top, or they hit form right at the end and they manage to stay at the top. So fair play to the teams that do make it, but no, it's probably the toughest league to get up to the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, who?
Yes.
One or two of the most difficult opponents you've ever faced?
Everyone always asks me, because everyone's seen this, the video of me and Ronaldo. They say, it must be Ronaldo, blah, blah. But I tell you, the hardest opponent I've ever played against is Iron Robin.
Wow.
And what was it about him? His nous, his pace, his trickery?
He had everything. And I mean, literally, sometimes I'll be marking him tightly. He would go and get the ball and I'll be chasing after him. And then he'll make a run in behind. And I've actually turned to run to chase after him, thinking he's trying to run in behind me. And he's literally stopped dead. And I'm still running. I'm thinking, I've looked back and he's stopped dead. And I'm like, well, how's that possible? We was both sprinting full speed and he just literally stopped. And I turned around and said, no, this is not possible. And the fact that he can go, he's all left foot. But to try and stop him and force him on his right foot is probably the hardest thing to do. Because even on his left foot, he can go inside or you can go outside. Yeah. So for me, it was the hardest. It was the hardest. And I hated coming up against him.
We played a golf game, and a former colleague of yours, remember Neil Cox, and he was talking about David Ginola. He marked him one night at St James's Park, and he literally said that after the game, he never wanted to play football again. Did you ever come up against any opponents from the two that were like Big Al, or how did you fare against Newcastle?
I think I did mind Newcastle, actually. I think it was Shearer, just because, Alan Shearer is Alan Shearer. I think he was kind of the player that everyone looked at.
Has he got that presence on the pitch, though? That everyone...
He has got that presence on the pitch, yeah, for sure. And I mean, even in the tunnel, when you see him, he's like, he's Alan Shearer, But no, he did have that presence about him. Even Shole Amiobi, I think, when he was at Newcastle, he was a real handful, real handful to play against.
But you've got that in your locker that you can always say you scored against the two. Listen, it is a Euros show, and we're running out of time. I've got to ask you, George, there's another massive game tonight. We know we're talking about England and Germany, but Sweden and Ukraine, what's your thoughts? Because I've got some facts for you. They literally have only faced each other 5 times.
I will say, both countries have been underrated in this competition. They're both much better than people give them credit for. I just fancy Sweden to win because I think defensively they're better. And I think offensively they have more firepower. And I think Sweden gets to the quarterfinals. And I think they'll be a very tough team to play against in the quarterfinals. I'll tell you that.
Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Sweden are really good, actually. I mean, I watched a little bit of Ukraine, but I think Sweden have got a little bit of everything, really. But yeah, they've been real underdogs to this tournament, but people need to keep a close eye on how Sweden do.
Okay, listen, George, we've got the last code to come. We're about to say goodbye to everyone. But before we do, and Justin, you're involved in this as well, so you can text me if you know the answer. But here's the question from Stato, Dave Huggan.
All right, hello there. It's Geordie Dave Huggan with the Stat Attack time. Now, I've got a quiz question for you this time, and I don't think you can Google this. You certainly couldn't last time I looked it up. But I would like to know, who were the 4 players to score goals at the old and new Wembley? Only 4 players scored at both venues. Now, remember, the old Wembley closed in 2000, and the new one opened in 2007. So there's a 7-year gap where games weren't played there, and games were played at Cardiff instead and other venues as well. So it's a bit of a tricky one. Somebody who had to be around in the 90s, somebody who was around after 2007 as well. And only 4 players did it. Can you name the 4? I'll give you the answers tomorrow.
George, that's going to keep you up all night, isn't it?
Thank you for that, Pete.
That's a tough one, no?
It is a very tough one.
I'm already thinking, that's very
and I've got the answers, and it's fascinating. It really is. And again, it comes straight from his brain. We're going to get George. We're going to have to get him on live soon because he's just absolutely incredible. Okay, listen. Last call. I'm going to put you on the spot. A score for tonight. in the big game, because there is a big game and it's literally starting in about 25 minutes. Justin, what are you going for?
I'm going for England 2-1.
2-1. George?
I have the same. England 2, Germany 1.
Is it coming home, Justin?
Hopefully. I hope it is. Hopefully. So let's get past Germany first.
Yeah.
And where can we find out details about your academy? Because the fans will want to. It's been so great having you on. Where can we find out stuff about you? Where's the website? Is the website coming out, or can we follow you on Twitter?
The website's coming out. Yeah, justinhoyte.com is coming out very, very shortly. I'm building that at the moment. I'm on Twitter, Justin Hoyte 84, and I'm on mostly on Instagram, Justin_Hoyte_84. That's where my academy is linked to. So if you follow that, you'll find more details about my academy.
I have to say, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and the most amazing Tottenham and Arsenal combination that hasn't been.
A great combination for once.
There's been no falling out. Yeah.
Justin, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour. You're a prince amongst men, sir. Wonderful.
No, thank you so much.
I'd love to follow up with a football app with you as well, Justin.
Yeah, please
do that. We'll intro Justin. We'll get him into the football app as well. Guys, thank you so much for all your comments. If you do have a look, you can see that you can join Geordie Pete Redding now, as well as subscribing. So please do join. Send us messages, subscribe, send us stickers, whatever you want to do.
Hey, hold on.
Go on.
I've just got Daniel Levy on the line. No, I'm not taking the job. Sorry, back to
you. Brilliant. That's it for Hollywood Balls. We'll be back tomorrow night. Hopefully celebrated an England win. 3 lines on the shirt. A massive thanks again, Justin. It's been an amazing evening. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure.